All right, hello and welcome to our first launch to the Light Warriors Academy broadcast live here, and it is my honor to really start this off with an incredible gentleman. This man is, well, he's a Sagittarian, just like I am, which just makes me incredibly excited. His name is Stan Rain. He is the host of the Naked Rain Experience, a personal development podcast that's about stripping away the fake and unlocking the light from within. He is a martial artist with over 10 years of broadcast media experience. He is an old-fashioned enthusiast, men's personal development life coach, and passionate about bringing the swag back into swagger. Hello, Stanley. Thank you so much for being on this broadcast here today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Now I've got to live up to all of that. You did such a great job with that.
Well, you know, what can I say? You come with a variety of experiences, and I know through some of the conversations that we've had getting to know each other that you are a very in-depth individual that really wants to help make a shift and a change in people's lives, and particularly really help the masculine bring down the barriers so they can enjoy themselves, if that's the best way to put it. Maybe you can explain it a lot better than I can.
Absolutely. I didn't realize that this was a space that really needed a lot of help. And I know that sounds a little ironic, but it wasn't until things just weren't really working out in my life that I kind of fell into the men's workspace. And I met all these amazing men in my circle, and I noticed the pattern that we're all going through very similar things. And as we explored deep in each other's issues and the issues in men in general, I was like, oh, this is almost like an epidemic, and it's actually been an epidemic for a while. And I can see my friends who are outside the space, I can see them going through the same sorts of issues that I went through. And I've always wanted to be like a coach or a therapist in some capacity. That's been like my lifelong thing. And I didn't even know it. And that's a whole part of the story, a whole other part of the story that I'll get into. But the men's space in particular right now, like, I can really make this real difference. And I feel so passionate about it right now. And so, yeah, that's where I'm really starting to focus, at least in my one-on-one coaching. I'm really trying to bring a little more awareness. And it is fitting that you said so that we can have more fun. Yeah, because when you own yourself completely, when you master your masculine and your feminine, because as human beings, we all encompass both energies. You know, you're not just completely masculine or completely feminine. Once you start letting go of all of these judgments that we have about ourselves, just allow us to be in it. That's when we can really enjoy life. That's when we can have these amazing connections and relationships with everybody around you. And so that's really quickly turning into my passion as I really start to zero in and really focus in on where I can make the biggest difference and put in the biggest dent.
I absolutely love that you talked about this and that you bring this up, because I know that I've witnessed from being in a domesticated relationship, you know, a traditional marriage, and witnessing from the masculine point of view the pressures that is put on the masculine space that you really don't have any outlet for. It's not okay, right? And yeah, the pressures of what a man is supposed to show up as and the pressures of what a woman is supposed to show up as is it doesn't really allow any room for that compassion to truly grow. And it's what I love about you is like, let's bring the romance back into life and
Mm.
really, enjoy the experiences. Why does courting need to end at the courting phase? Why don't you move that forward? Why does responsibility have to put so much pressure on the relationship? I don't think that it has to, but because of the way that we've been taught and conditioned.
Hmm. Yeah, what's coming up for me right now is I've always felt that I've been a big time feminist. I am all about equality because I see that women, even today, have it hard. It's very difficult. But in fighting for equal pay and fighting for just being able to show up equally, okay, with no one demanding how you control, demanding control over what you do with your body, et cetera, and so forth. I neglected my own trials and I've neglected my own pressures, and I kind of ignored that it's also difficult being a man and growing up in this environment too. And there are a lot of expectations. I've been through several different relationships showing up in that unsure masculine space, and there's a ton of pressure that I I was not ready for. I was not ready for. My heart was ready, really willing, gave it my all, but it kind of felt like I was set up to fail. Just looking at the examples of what my parents demonstrated to me, like my dad was just so open-hearted, just so heartfelt. And before he really had the opportunity to teach me how to really be a man and to live in that masculine space, he passes away. And then I have to try to figure that out on my own. And trying to find a masculine role model has been very difficult. And that showed up in my relationships and just, yeah, and just a little in being overly into the feminine energy. There was an imbalance of showing up too much into my emotions, showing up with too much of the same desires and expectations that my partners had. And, it's only after the fact that I'm starting to figure this out and starting to understand, for example, the idea of sexual polarity and how that romance of how the physicality, like that biological aspect of being physically attracted to someone, how that's dependent on one person being identified with their masculine and the other person being identified with their feminine, and having that synergy, that sexual polarity, so that you can feel that energy and feel that dance between the two partners. And both of them, both people playing into that. It's not a hard faceted role. And I'm not saying that, the man needs to be the masculine, completely the masculine, and the female needs to be completely the feminine. It's just this whole dynamic of when you really understand yourself and allowing yourself to be in all the energies and knowing that about your partner, where your partner is at, then you can start to really play around with that. But nobody taught me this. Nobody taught me this. It's like I just stumbled on this.
It's like the conversation that we had about the males needing to be the hero, right? Always needing to
Yeah.
save the female. And through doing that, you cut yourself both off at the knees because you're not allowing the female to step into her power and be the best that she can be, even though your intentions are so good and so noble. And through doing the same, you're also not able to fully step into yourness because you're feeling resentful of how of her not doing what she needs to do. But it's a vicious cycle. And what I love to talk about when I talk about relationships is moving from codependence to
Mm.
independence to interdependence. It's a
Yes.
three-step thing, right? You can't just jump from the codependence into the interdependence. You have to go through that strengthening process of who am I by myself before
Mm.
I can let anyone else share in that without taking those pieces away from me.
That's beautiful. That's perfect. Uh, I resonate with that completely, and I will offer this to you as well. In my men's space, one man posited this to me, and he added an extra step, which is great for me because I like lots of like little baby steps. He talked about, yes, moving from codependence, which I was a very codependent person, and the codependence is like, and for you guys watching this right now, um, here's how I've learned what it means and how it feels for me. So codependence is I need you. I need to get stuff from you. Okay. And then you go to dependence. Dependence is I still don't know how to do this thing, but show me how to do this thing. Then you move on to independence. I can do this thing all by myself. And then interdependence, let me show you how to do this thing.
Hmm.
That, and that's the way that he posited it to me, and how I kind of carried it forward in the way that I resonate with what I'm trying to do, and how I become more independent. Um, but yeah, codependency, it's dangerous, especially when
Yeah.
both people are codependent on each other.
And the thing is it's so normal. People don't realize that 90% of the relationships out there
Mm,
are codependent relationships. And
mm,
it's not just in physical relationships. There's a codependence to your government, to the money, to
mm,
to your relationships, to yourself, right? Like all of these areas show up in the spaces of need. And when you let go of those exterior needs, then that brings room for you to be able to just be an allowance and
mm.
allow those relationships in all aspects to come back to you in a more healthy manner.
Yes.
I think I rounded that up pretty nicely.
That was- you rounded that out perfectly, and I can give you an example of how that worked for me.
I would
Uh,
love that.
So I've always thought of myself as this socially awkward young boy in his mid 30s, um, trying to meet new people and just feeling weird because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin.
I can't
Okay.
see you being socially awkward. You are.
See, I'm glad I present that. No, I'm kidding. I feel that now. I don't feel socially awkward anymore. But there was a huge time when I was, to the point where my girlfriend at the time, when I was at uh, a work function, and I was trying to mingle with my coworkers, and she's a psychotherapist, and so she can never turn it off. When when I was done interacting, I came back to her to see how she's doing, and I laugh about this. She hits me on the arm, and she's like, "Oh, that explains it. You're just socially awkward. You're socially inept. That explains everything." And I'm like, "Gee, thanks."
Oh,
And it took me a while to understand why that was. And for me, that was basically I wasn't comfortable with who I was. In that relationship, in that time, that was a very codependent time for me. Now, all the work that I've been doing to become more independent, more sure of myself, more into myself, more accepting of everything, all of my wonderful gifts, all of my amazing faults, and I call them amazing because that's part of our charm. I just accept it. I'm a goofball. yeah, last night, no, not last night, Saturday night, in my black belt ceremony, um, I,
Congratulations, by the way. Interjecting
oh,
to give you a
thank you. Thank you.
TLC.
I appreciate that very much. But this is a good case in point for me. We were making a joke with one of the students who graduated with me, and I spilled my beer all over the table, like knocking it over. And as I was getting up, I'm like, "Yeah, that's just me. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, I just accept it. Like, okay, this is me." When I started getting into this, and I didn't start feeling into this self assuredness, um, until like even a few months ago. It's that recent. When I went out again and I started reconnecting with my friends, connecting with new people, it was like night and day. I just sat back. I was able to be present, hear the person, understand the person, look into their eyes, and just have this amazing connection on every level. And it was something that I never experienced before. And it was like there was like this magnetic field of people wanting to be around me. And it was just me being me. That was me being independent, and that was that's really the gift of when you get to that self acceptance. It doesn't matter who you are, what kind of quirks that you think you might have. People are going to be want to be around that energy because all I'm doing is just giving. I'm just giving off all this like just feel good energy. With the way that a lot of us are built now, and especially how a lot of men, young boys are growing up right now with all this pressure. It's super uncomfortable trying to be just us because a lot of the time that's not good enough. We feel that that's not good enough. We feel that other people have these sorts of expectations on us, and it may or may not be true. And in my experience, most of the time, it's actually not as true as we think it is that people are demanding we show up in a certain way. We think that way and we twist it around because the second we get rid of that and I just show up and be like, hey, this is me, take me or leave me, people gravitate to that. So that's how it really showed up for me once I started taking full ownership of that and just getting away from all of those all of those expectations, all those masculine expectations. And
So,
yeah,
what
you
would
guys
you
make
say
a good thought.
is your greatest accomplishment that you've been able to overcome?
My greatest accomplishment that I've really been able to overcome, I really feel is that really finding my life path. That was really difficult for me. Um, I felt for the longest time that I didn't really have like a personality, um, unsure of what I could possibly give to the world that would mean anything to leave some kind of meaningful legacy. And the thing that I found that just made my life path so apparent was that difficulty. It was all of those trials and tribulations that I went through. It was the devastating breakups. It was getting over the death of my father finally after 15 years. And not that I've gotten over it, but finally starting to allow that to allow me to feel all of that, which is super important. It was when I was super lost in the darkness, not knowing who I was at all by myself, finding that light within myself, to shine that path on the ground, to see where I want to go, and start just walking forward and seeing that I can actually help other people find their way too. I can give people the ability to have their own flashlights. It's so obvious to me now what I have to offer the world because I can see it and so I can do something about it.
So, what was your core strategy that you used in being able to get to that split into that space, achieving your accomplishment?
Well, my core strategy was basically finding guidance. In the same way that I'm guiding other people, I didn't do it by myself. I needed help. And so like help found me in the name of my mentor, Roger Burnley. He found me, the universe put him in my life, and he nudged me in certain directions. And then I found my men's groups, and then I reached out. And then I used my secret power, as they coined it, of just opening my heart, just being vulnerable and sharing and really making the extra effort to lay it all out there, the willingness to go deep within myself, which is super scary. But that strategy of seeing who walked the path before, seeing how they did it, walking that path, and now showing others in my own way how to walk that path. And that's the one pattern that I've seen in every single person is we need someone. We need that shepherd. We need that guide. We can try doing it by ourselves, but we're literally going to take an entire lifetime, if we even are able to do it, if we do it all alone.
So, what are 3 or 4 skill moves that can protect your audience from making the same mistakes that you made?
3 to 4 skill moves. Okay. First and foremost, here's what I would have to say to you is that you're not broken. Understanding that you're not a broken person, you're not less than a person, you are a worthy person. To understand that you are worthy of everything that you want, dream, and desire. Getting to the space of just feeling enough worth in order to start getting you on the path of allowing yourself to go for what you want. Because that's really the core of a lot of these issues, is just we feel like that we're not worth anything. We feel like that we're not worth love, that we're unlovable. We're all lovable. We all deserve love, each and every one of us. When you can get enough, just enough, feeling enough of, I'm worth getting out of this pain. I am worth at least that. Then what do you want? Discovering, like, okay, where do I want to go from here? What direction do I need to move? A lot of us don't know that. A lot of us don't know what's truly in our hearts of where we want to go. We talk about societal expectations. We talk about environmental expectations, what our parents want for us, what the world wants for us, what our friends want for us. It's great. A lot of people want things for us. What do you want? What do you want for yourself? Allow yourself permission to be okay with wanting things. And even if it's weirdly selfish, even if it's like, I've always wanted this weird green polka dot guitar that is, super expensive, but completely useless. It's a thing. I shouldn't want materialistic things. It's like, no, bupkis, go get it. Go figure out how to get that weird polka dot guitar. It's okay to want things. And as you start filling your cup, as you are able to generate the love for yourself, and your cup fills up, your wants are going to get a lot bigger, in the sense of a lot more spiritual and a lot more altruistic, and you're going to want other people to have this love too. That's just how it works. It's the inability of us to take care of ourselves. That's kind of like where everything crumbles. So, okay. Figuring out your self-worth, that you're worth these things, figuring out what you want, get help. Reach out. If you don't know how to do anything, reach out to somebody or a group of people who know how to do the thing that you want, and it's okay to ask for help. Okay? It's that's how human beings work. We share knowledge with each other. We have the wise old sages who pass down the legacy to the next generation for a reason. That's how it works. And so allow yourself to reach out. And again, to touch on the whole masculine thing, it's kind of baked into masculine expectation that men shouldn't ask for help in particular. And so that was the biggest thing for me, just allowing myself to ask for that help that I desperately needed. And it just so happened that I just got to such a low point that I just could not stand being where I was anymore. And I just let go. I let go of that. And I'm like, I just need all the helps, please. And it changed my life. It completely changed my life.
So how has that affected your overall growth? What kind of results have you seen in your life as a result of going through this process?
Boy, oh boy, where do I begin? um, I'm doing stuff that I've always wanted to do. And so, for example, like my biggest victory that I'm celebrating right now that you congratulated me on, my karate black belt. That I still can't believe that I achieved that. It's such a wonderful
Such an
feeling.
honor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing.
it is so tremendous. I'm still just like basking in the glow of it.
Did you break like a cement or something to prove yourself? What did you have to do? What was the thing that you had to do? This is off topic and we're digressing, but it's an interesting story and I want to continue with it.
Oh, okay. What? See, now the question is, what can I share? Because the thing with our dojo is we have this tradition for all once you hit black belt or once you're going for black belt and beyond, we have a boot camp and we spend an entire day and a night doing this boot camp stuff that I'm not privy, that no one's privy to know about unless you're going through it. I will say that, well, yeah, I can share this little injury. I didn't break any cements, but I did break my finger. Tip of my finger. It's
Oh
still
no.
really purple, but it's because usually my light. This is where I wear my light pinky ring, but my
Right.
finger's like, you're not putting anything on me right now. So I'm like, okay, it's okay. And I'm happy. Like I'm happy. I walked away with.
War wounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. So, what has been the best strategy that you've learned that has really created that core impact for you in your life?
Here's something I can share with you. This is something that I came up with for myself, and that I share with and I share this with some people, and it's helped them tremendously. I have a morning practice in my journal. I wake up and I kind of like get myself out of bed, grab my tea or my coffee when I'm in whatever I'm in the mood for, and I open up my journal and I walk myself through a process. So I begin with, Stan, who are you today? Who are you? So I'll write down in a couple of sentences who I am. And that might change like day to day. You know, I'm Stan Rain. I'm a talk show host, martial artist, old fashioned enthusiast, personal development coach, all these things. And I might add something, I might take away something, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is who I feel I am right now. Who are you? Under that, I write down what my purpose is. My purpose is to just be the best Stan that I can possibly be, shine my light so that I can help others find their light as well. Just be that shining example for the world. That's my purpose, so I can make that difference that way. What's my mission? My mission will change from time to time. Like recently, my mission has been to get my butt through boot camp so I could get my black belt. But yeah, right now my mission, it's really evolving into now that my time is reorganizing. my mission is now to really begin to buckle down and start helping men, as many men as I possibly can. One man in my space, his mission is to help 100,000 men. And he does this through, of course, coaching. And he's coached me several times. And so through me also coaching other men, that helps him bring up his tally, because in coaching me, I can coach someone else. So I write that down, my mission. Then I get into a gratitude space. Stan, what are you thankful for this morning when you wake up? I write down 5 things that I'm thankful for. Like, whew, okay, attitude of gratitude. Then I write down the 10 things, my dream, my desires, the 10 things that I want out of my life. Go down the list, writing down those 10 things, really feeling into it, really reveling in all of those things. Then after that, I close my journal, kind of like hold it tight to me, and I spend a good like 5 or 10 minutes breathing it in, imagining the things that I'm thankful for, imagining the things that I'm manifesting in my life, imagining my mission, my purpose, feeling into the person that I am, and just solidifying that. Then I go about my day, and that's my journaling wake up practice. And then at the very end of the day, I go back in my journal and I write down my 5 to 10 biggest gratitude / victories. What proof did I manifest in that day that I'm moving forward in that? And I filled up like several different journals, because like each day is a page, and every day it's just go, go, go. And knowing my intention, knowing who I am, and just going throughout the day with all of that intentionality, and then coming back and finding the proof that this is Stan the Man showing up. That's been like, as far as like my own little processes, like that's been game changing for me. And so I offer that to all of you to start getting into that practice and see how you feel in 21 days when you do this for 21 days straight.
Yeah, a morning routine is so fantastic and can completely change the trajectory of your life. I love that you brought that up. So my question for you is, what are you known for? How do people know Stan Rain?
Right now, the way that people really know me, they know me as the podcasting guy. They know me as the really cool karate guy. And now they're really getting to know me as Stan Rain, the personal development coach, ? It's really been very interesting to see the response on my Facebook when I launched my podcast and launched my mission and what I want to do, and everyone was so proud of me, and they didn't really expect me to like really delve this deep into it. And so yeah, I'm honored to slowly that my identity is starting to shift into the world of, oh yeah, he's going to be like the next Tony Robbins, Stan the motivational guy.
So, there's been a lot of amazing, incredible shifts that you've told me about. What has been the number one strategy that you've implemented for yourself this year?
Strategy. I think the biggest, like the thing that has really got my gears into motion, the strategy, has been sorting out my workflow, sorting out my managing my time a lot better. Because before, there's a lot of things that I know that I wanted to do, but I'm already overwhelmed and I'm just thinking about the huge picture. And so my strategy now has been to chunk things down. There's a really amazing guy who taught me a program called Workflow. And I basically throw everything down into a list of what I need to do. And then I just start prioritizing that stuff. Okay. Stuff that's okay. What's important for my business? All right. This, and that. Okay. put the stuff on your calendar, which was weirdly enough really new to me. Oh, you mean I need to put stuff on this calendar? It can't just be all white. Like that was like it blew my mind. I'm like, oh, cool. And so it was because before I couldn't figure out like when I needed to do something, how long. I procrastinate all. I'm a high functioning procrastinator, is what I am. But so starting to manage my time and really schedule things
Mm-hmm.
and also scheduling my me time. Like setting boundaries and limits on, all right, I'm going to work this day. I'm working super hard and super deep on my business for 6 hours today or for 4 hours this day. And then scheduling everything else in there, like my gym time, my friend and connection time, my me time, my solo meditation time at the beach, all that stuff. And I just chunk everything in there, schedule everything, and I noticing my list just getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until, oh wait, there's nothing on my list. Cool. And now it's just doing it. When it pops up on my phone, Stan, it's 3 o'clock. Do this thing. I just do it. And I take one day to really plan out my entire week of what I like. That's the real brain power of like, all right, now I need to think what's going to be important, put it on the calendar, and then for the rest of the week, it's just basically autopilot at that point. I just make sure I show up and do the thing that I promised myself to do. So if there's one strategy that if you feel overwhelmed, that's going to help you do so much. Use your calendar.
I know getting organized is a challenge for me as well. And what I had to learn was to be comfortable with both spontaneity and working with an organized atmosphere, because just being completely spontaneous, I wasn't getting anything done,
Mm-hmm.
but being too organized was driving me batty as well. So, right? So
Yes.
I totally understand and appreciate getting organized as being a core strategy of being able to figure out who you are and being able to achieve those goals that you're trying to achieve. So, Stan, how do we find out more about you?
Come see me on Facebook. I am facebook.com/. You can either do right there on the screen, Naked Rain Experience. That is you'll find all things about my podcast there, a link to my Facebook group, a link to me, or you can do facebook.com/Stan Rain. If you have any questions, if you would like to have like a one-on-one chat, message me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. And at this point too, like just about every Wednesday, my mentor and I, we have like a powwow chat. We open it up to the space. We invite you all in, and we just talk about really cool topics. Like one that's coming up, we're talking about change. Find out more information on facebook.com/Naked Rain Experience. Come see me, and we'll set you up with that.
Now, before I let you go and I wrap up with you, there's Dan, because I am a female. I do kind of live in a kind of female dominated space.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. Do you have anything to say to the women that will probably be watching? Because I know through the women they can speak to the men. So can you touch base on that before we?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really important that yeah, there's a couple of things. So first of all, let me speak this into the space. This is coming from the martial arts part of me. And the martial arts part of me is I think every woman should learn how to throw a good punch. There's this one particular sensei. She's off exploring the world, doing her own, living her life. And she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's an amazing mother, an amazing wife, very feminine. But she also knows how to punch someone in the face when they get fresh. I think it's very important that a woman um, finds the ability in order to make sure that she can defend her boundaries. Because, as our mutual friend always likes to say, a man is not a plan.
Man is not a plan.
No. So, as far as everyone coming together for healthy relationships, and so that both people are independent and bring interdependence into the relationship, learn that for yourself. Learn how to defend yourself on every level because you deserve it. And the second thing, if there's a man in your life who you feel has lost his way, or you're feeling that there's some kind of weird energy going on, if you're not feeling it a lot from your partner, have patience, understand, and have that compassion of where he's coming from, what his life experiences are that has him in that particular space. Because I promise you, he's not enjoying living in that space. I did not enjoy living in that space. I just thought that that was just my experience and that's just how things are. Now it's completely different. Invite him without judgment to see if he can go and get help. Encourage him, and also encourage him to take more leadership roles. Encourage that aspect of him, and really celebrate when he follows through in his masculinity. Reward him for that. If just those couple of things of inviting him into and there's so many opportunities there's so many different men's groups out there that are super, super affordable, and that it's not this whole big what to do, going into, into therapy or anything like that. A lot of times, all a man really needs is a space of other men to open up, to feel safe in doing that. And once he has that, a lot of the time, he can figure his stuff out. If there's something super, super powerful and charged, if you feel that there might be some trauma in his past involved or something like that, then I super encourage you to I would say, seek couples therapy. Don't just make it about him saying, I think there's something wrong with you. Go do therapy. Do it together. Grow together. Grow together as a couple and strengthen that way. Encourage each other to be better. And that would be my advice. And in my podcast, even though my coaching right now is men-centric, it's universal. And there's something for everybody to listen to get from the podcast. So that's what I would recommend.
If I may, I'd love to interject. I think it's so important to get each other's points of view. I tune into men's enlightenment podcasts just as much as well, no, that's not true. Not just as much, but I do tune into men's stuff because it helps me to be more empathetic to the challenges that men are also going through, and it's just a better way to be able to understand the challenges that both of us tend to go through, right? And yes, they're dynamically different, but we all have pressures. And if you can be humble enough to hear the voices that other people speak through, then, well, it just creates a much better, more harmonious space for everybody involved. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for creating such a dynamic shift and a dynamic change in your space. Men do need a safe place where they can express themselves, and they need leaders like you that are not, an all boys club, but it's a safe space for men to be able to learn how to express themselves. So thank you for dominating that space of the industry. It's so needed. And I know how big your heart is and the way that you communicate. You are going to be able to make those differences in those lives. So yes, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we close up this most enlightening and incredible broadcast. I didn't expect anything less.
I think that's a beautiful way to end it. You hit a core value right there, and that's at the end of the day, we all just want to be accepted and understood. And the more understanding that we can be of each other, the better this world is going to be. You know, if we can lessen the finger pointing, lessen the it's your fault, and start coming from an aspect of why. I'd like to understand why you feel this way or why you do the things that you do and have compassion around that. Keep up that love because love always wins in the end.
Always wins. One of the biggest, most dynamic lessons that I learned in my marriage was when my marriage was starting to fall apart.
Mm,
And
hmm.
I was reading all kinds of like blame books, let's put it that way, right? How do I stop the bad guy from creating badness in my life? It's not really, but eccentrically, that was where my mindset was at, and and what I learned through that process was the only way to truly well, the only way to truly get through to the other person, well, it was actually a two-step process.
Mm,
One was step up into your own power, and the second
mm,
is unconditional kindness. Stop taking
mm,
things personally and just pour out your cup. And the more that you're willing to do that, it will get to a point where they're like, whoa, I can't help but reciprocate. And then that's when the healing really starts to begin.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And especially if, um, just to add super quickly, especially if you feel you're having trouble, you're thinking, "Oh, I don't love myself. I can't generate I can't generate love for myself." If you generate that kindness, if you just generate that and you pour that out onto somebody else, you're generating it.
Mm-hmm.
You are it. And it will come back to you because then that person is just inundated and then they can't help but reflect it back to you. So that's an
It
awesome strategy. I love that.
Yeah. And it was so hard when I learned it because basically the book that I was reading, my reference point was like, take the punches. Just
Mm.
take the punches, right? And just keep pouring out your cup. And eventually, through that process, because it's unconditional, because it's like, I'm laying down my sword no matter what. I refuse to get defensive anymore. I am just going to love you. How can you keep hitting that target if the
Mm.
target just stands strong, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to break your hand and you're going to be like, I'm sorry, Wall. Can I have my blood back? That's a really bad metaphor, but
Case in point.
case in point. That's right. That's right. So thank you again for dominating this space of healing relationships, mainly of men healing those relationships with themselves, which overpours into their relationships with other people, including their soulmate.
Mm.
I love you, everything that you're doing in the world. Shemaya, I acknowledge you. Thank you so much for the compliment. And this is Samantha at the Light Warriors Academy, featuring heart centered entrepreneurs who are here making a difference. Make it the best day possible. I love you so much.